Okay, you guys, I'm back. My phone overheated. So, we're going to try to put this behind it. Keep it from getting so hot. Hey, Denise, sweet sister. This is take 2 on this. I'm in the car and my phone overheated. It wouldn't let me come back on. Okay, so now I realize I have cut my paper incorrectly with my pattern, so let's try this again. Okay, so this is the front. The pattern's going like this. The pattern's going like this. So, then I need to flip it on the back, right? Sorry, y'all. I cannot see comments because the sun is so bright on the screen. So I will do my best to look up every now and then. Hey, Tessie, and hopefully be able to see everybody. Started a while ago, and then I got an emergency alert thing that my phone was too hot and I could not use it until it cooled down, so I had to hold it in front of the air conditioner to cool it down. But Rodney has now turned some air on up above, and I'm hoping that's going to keep it from doing the same thing. Should it go off again, I will not repost. I will not try to do that again. So now I'm just trying one more time to cut this out, and I think I actually need to make this line a little bit wider because I had cut it a little short on my pattern. So let's make it a little wider, and what we're doing is we're making a cigar box over into a purse. But I wanted to save the label, or what is it called, Rodney? The stamp, because the box is from the Dominican Republic, and if you know me well, you know that I have a real special place in my heart for the Dominican Republic because we did mission work there quite a bit. And if you saw the interview with our Haitian son Romano, he lives in the Dominican Republic, even though he's from Haiti. And so on the first video, people voted between 3 different papers on which paper to use as the background, and this is the one that won the vote. So hopefully this is going to fit now. I am going to have to order a wooden handle for it. So this is the background, and then I've got 2 pictures of Marilyn that I'm going to finish tearing the edges, and then we're going to trim her out in one of the bling trims. That won't be able to happen today though, or maybe not until later tonight, because these are iron-ons. So I'll need to do that from home. So let me get a brush, and I've got my Mod Podge open, and we're just going to put a bunch of regular Mod Podge on here. I did not paint it first. I did not see any need to, because when I held the paper up, you couldn't see through the paper. That's really the only reason you want to usually paint first. So if you can see through, especially with napkins, you can see through, then you got it covered up. I'm trying to save this stamp, and I'm also going to try to save this gold edge that's on here, if you can see it. Gold and black edge that was already on the cigar box. Because first of all, I think it's pretty, but secondly, ever so often on this gold trim, it says handmade. And I thought, that's kind of cool. I think I'm just going to leave that right there like it is and let the handmade show. I had started trying to lift this up, so let me try to glue that down since I'm keeping it. So, how is everybody doing today? We are doing well. Okay. Lay that down there and put the paper on. Lined up. And since this is scrapbook paper, I'm not going to really have to worry about wrinkles. Scrapbook paper is really hard to get it to wrinkle, so I'm just going to put it down here, and I tried to preserve. Didn't quite get the white line on this side cut, so I may have to go back and trim it a little bit. Okay, so here's this side. Can't see who else is on here. Okay, now I think while I've got this turned over like this, we are going to finish tearing Marilyn's picture apart a little bit on the edges. I went and just tore right here with dry paper because apparently when I cut this out, some of the ink bled. It still looks enough good on the front to me that I'm not worried about it, but I don't want my edges to be so sharp. I did think about trying to find a little frame to put it in and then glue the frame on, but if I'm going to use that trim to put around it, that will make it look like a frame. So this would be a lot easier if I could wet it, but I'm just afraid a lot of the ink will bleed. So I'm just going to tear it dry. And then because I have this black and gold trim on the edge of the box, then I'm going to use either the clear mirrored kind of trim or the colored trim around the picture of her on both sides. Then we're going to use some stickles. We've got some bling. I'll get a handle, a wood handle to put on it. We will line the inside. Line the inside with some fabric, which I have not picked out yet. And then I'm going to put a mirror on the inside. Y'all remember, well, y'all may not be as old as me, but back in the day, cigar box purses were really popular. I remember having a couple of cigar box purses. Of course, that was also back in the day when I didn't carry half of the kitchen with me wherever I went, so it would hold all my stuff. Not so now. Okay, got two edges torn. So over here to do this one, it says love down on the bottom, and I don't want to tear that off because I think that's kind of cute. So we'll leave that on there. Then we'll flip the box and do the other side with the other picture of her, which is right here. That before. So, if I can, I'll come on tonight and maybe try to finish as much as I can. I don't know that I'll have a handle on it yet, but try to finish as much as I can of it. Then we've got to get all of our suitcases emptied out, repacked, to go house sit for our friends, and Rodney's going to be going on a business trip next week, so we have to kind of, we're in and out real quick. Fortunately, our daughter and her daughters are there, so they can help with our doggy. There you go. I love this picture. I just printed this off the internet, y'all. You know, you can find all kinds of pictures. I also had some of Audrey Hepburn. I thought about putting Marilyn on one side and Audrey on the other, but the one of Audrey wasn't quite as colorful, and so I decided that since I already had two colorful ones of Marilyn that were different, that I would use them. I think it would also be cute once this is all decoupaged and finished, blinged out and stuff, to get a scarf to tie around the handle. Not a real long one, just a small scarf to tie around the handle, because we used to do that too. I see people doing it sometimes now.
Why don't you use a scarf on the handle?
I don't think a scarf would be secure enough with the handle. may do, when I get ready to do this permanently, I may grunge this up a little bit so it's not so bright white. Let me show you what the bling would look like around there. See, that would just kind of frame it out. We did that. You can use that one, or, and this is iron-on, so that's why I need to wait till I'm home. Or we could use this one. But this one is silver, and this trim has gold on it. And the earrings I got to go on one of the patterns is gold. So I don't mind mixing metals, but I think probably the colorful one would work better. So let's get her put down. And if y'all are wondering, my desk that's in my lap that I'm working on, Rodney made for me out of a box from Home Depot. So it's a very heavy-duty box.
Before you stick that down, do you verify which way the thing opens up so you don't ever hit upside down?
And around the edge, he punched some holes for my paintbrushes to stick in. Y'all can't, maybe you can see up here. Probably not. And then there's some little, like, toilet paper rolls that he cut in half and stuck them, made some holes and stuck them down in there for me to put bottles of paint in. My scissors, whatever I need to put down in there. And I've got a little sponge sitting right here with a hole cut out in it, so I put my water container in here.
Which way?
It opens this way.
So, which way the handle going to go?
The handle's going to go up here.
Okay. You need to do it
Okay.
that way.
So here you go. There you go on one side. But see, this is too white for me. That'll need to be grunged. Alright, so I'm not going to put a top coat on it yet because I want to get the other side done. So let me, there's a little bit I missed right there. So let me hold this up so y'all can see. See what I'm talking about? Isn't that cool? Same on the other side, except the other side has a sponge that my cup can sit down in.
It's going to be the first person who's going to go to the bottom.
Okay, so talk about all that later. Now I'm going to do this side that I've already cut my pattern for. So I think I got it a little bit long right there to cover up the label. So y'all tell me in the comments, and I can go back and read it later. Do you like the silver trim, or do you like the multicolored trim that I had? You know what? I can probably adapt this piece right here and not even have to use the other sheet. Go back and look at your comments. I just can't look right now. Alright, let me trace around this. I'm going to hold my ruler up here. Oops. Got another line. I just gave her one big hug, and I said, this is from everybody on my lives that said, please tell Jen hello. And this is the big hug, considered a group hug from all those people that wanted me to give you a hug. She is so sweet. We really enjoyed spending time with she and David. Got the cutest grandchildren. Oh my word, those children are cute. One of them has dimples you can put your whole finger down in. She's adorable. They're just all beautiful. Okay, what happened? You're looking on the wrong paper. That's what happened. Okay, let me cut this up a little bit to fit better. It takes us about 4 hours with no stops to get home from Atlanta. I sure am glad I was not flying out of the Atlanta airport this weekend. Did y'all know that the Atlanta airport is considered the busiest airport in the world? Yep, in the world. And if you've ever flown through there, you'll know why. Even more so than Chicago O'Hare. More than Heathrow. London. Y'all, one time when I had gone and taken a team to Africa, this is not Tracy. Hold on a minute. And we were coming back through Chicago. And the day after we got back, the morning after we got back, one of the girls and her family were flying to China to visit the home of a little girl they had adopted. So, you know, she had to be back on time. So we get to Chicago and, you know, have a long layover and get on the plane. And the plane had just started backing up when the captain got on and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's a storm that has moved into the area and we are going to have to pull back in, and this flight is not going to be able to take off. So you will need to go in and rebook for tomorrow." Nightmare. Can you say nightmare? So, and of course we were not by any means the only flight that was canceled. So when we got in there, it was insanity. Literal insanity. I have never seen anything like it in my life. We were having to wait for hours, and they've got these little round areas that have phones on them that you can pick up the phone and call directly to the airline that you're flying on. So people were on all those phones, not wanting to wait in line, and people were getting so testy with all the airline people who were working themselves to death trying to get it all worked out. And so when I got up there with my team, you know, they just said, "There's nothing, we cannot get you out of here until tomorrow, and I'm not sure we can even get all of you all on the same flight." And I said, "Look, one of my girls has to be home because she's flying to China tomorrow with her family. She has to be home. Ma'am, we're doing the best we can, but this is all I can tell you." Meanwhile, I had called my husband and I said, "Could you call around and see if there's any airport hotels that we could stay in?" Then I also asked him to call, or I think one of the other girls with me, her husband was trying to call rental cars. I said, "Maybe what we need to do is just rent a car and start driving so that at least I can get this girl home in time, you know, to go with her family." No rental cars to be had. He called every rental car company, and I guess everybody else was trying to do the same thing. If I'm not going to be able to fly out, I'll just rent a car and drive. And so there were no rental cars. My husband found a hotel, but there wasn't going to be enough rooms for us all to stay in. So some of us decided that we would just stay at O'Hare and wait it out while some of them went to the hotel. Now, mind you, I'm responsible for all these girls, so I had to make sure that, you know, I talked to their parents ahead of time and said, "Do you mind if they go to a hotel? Do you mind if they, you know, take a taxi to the hotel?" Blah, blah, blah. So my friend and I, another lady that was a friend of mine that was on the trip, were the two that were staying at O'Hare. And so they literally came through the gates and they had cots, like army cots, and they lined them up one literally one right next to each other. There was barely room for you to put your foot down in between them. It looked like something out of a movie, like where a pandemic or something, you know, had hit and everything had to shut down. Hallways and hallways of these cots set up, and then they threw airport, you know, the old blankets that they used to use on airplanes. They threw you one of those. It was, by this time that we finally got settled into doing anything, it was like 11:30 at night. So the McDonald's in that concourse reopened so people could go over there and get food. And, you know, at first a lot of people were really ticked. And then once they saw that, you know what, there's not a thing in the world we can do about it, might as well just embrace it and figure out a way to have fun. Then everybody was walking around with their cameras and, you know, talking to people, making jokes about it, you know, oh, are we ever going to get out of O'Hare? Are we going to be stuck here for the rest of our lives? And, you know, literally it looked like something made for a movie. And so I knew that, you know, there wasn't any way any of us were really going to sleep, but we finally laid down on our cots about, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning, and you know, tried to go to sleep, and the man next to me was snoring so loud you could hear him at the other end of the concourse. And so then I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep, and we no sooner got really good and relaxed than they started coming through saying, okay, y'all need to get up, we got to take all these cots up because the airport's going to reopen, and you know, we have to have all of these out of the aisles, out of the walkways and stuff for people to come in and check in with their flight. So maybe 2.5 hours max did people really have time to lay down on their cots. So what we ended up having to do was that one girl that had to leave with her family, they had one seat on one plane going to, I think we all ended up flying into Memphis or Knoxville. I can't remember which. We're just tearing the edges. And I had to, you know, call the parents and say, okay, they can't get us into Nashville, so y'all are going to have to come pick your kids up in either Memphis or Knoxville. I don't think it was Chattanooga, but it was someplace like that. So we had to come back in groups. There was like 3 different groups of us coming back at 3 different times just to get us all home. I don't want to do that to you. That was, I mean, there was a fun part of it, you know, when you're in the middle of it and you've gotten over being mad and realizing nobody can do anything about it, and then you just make the best of it, and you laugh and you walk around taking all the video footage and talking to people and stuff. But it's certainly not something that I ever want to have to do again. It truly looked like it was out of a movie. Okay, now this top part, I'm going to try to be really careful tearing off, because I don't want to tear off her crown right there, even though I'm going to put a real crown on her head. I want to be very careful. I wish I could see what y'all are saying. After I get this on, I'll pick the phone up and then I can see what the comments were. Looks like we're in bumper to bumper traffic.
Yeah, we're about a few miles out of Chattanooga, and we're 75 and 24 split, and everything's ground to a stop.
Yep.
At least I'm in the correct lane this time. A few weeks ago when I came through here, I was got on 75 going out of town the wrong way.
We deliberately last night went through Atlanta before we pulled over to get a hotel, because we knew if we didn't, we'd get up this morning and we would be in rush hour traffic like we are now. This isn't rush hour though. This is, I don't know what this is.
This is just traffic.
Okay, almost through. We can put her on. Just don't want her crown to be torn off. Okay, let's see. I still can't leave that straight. Let's see, that little piece right there is straight, and I don't want that. So, just do the best I can.
When you put the bling on, is it going to cover the edge or just go up?
Yeah, it'll go up over the edge, so it's really not going to show. It's actually, the crown I got is actually bigger than the crown she's putting on her head, so it's really not going to matter. I tore a lot of it off, and that's okay. All right, so let me see now where this goes best on here. Now, this box is upside down. One side is upside down from the other, the writing. But I want to make sure that I have my pictures going the same direction. Okay, so ready to glue this down. And it's this kind of thing that makes me happy when I get to craft when we're driving down the road. I'm not a person who likes to just listen to book on tape or just look out the window, or I can read in the car. Fortunately, I don't get car sick, so sometimes if I'm reading a book that I want Rodney to hear part of or whatever, I'll read out loud. But I don't like being idle. So if I'm going to be sitting in traffic like this, then I want to be doing something. I feel like I'm accomplishing something. All right, let's put a little more down here in this corner. And now I think I will go ahead and put a top coat all the way across this to make sure that these papers are down good. So did everybody have an exciting Memorial Day? Did you do anything fun and interesting? Spend time with family? Okay, I think I got that covered pretty well. I'll hold it up just a second. What is that noise? Huh?
It's a siren.
Well, I thought so too, but it was happened like, There you go.
I think it's the guy's brakes behind me when he lets off the brakes.
Isn't that pretty? I think this is going to be really fun when we get it all zhuzhed up. And down here on the sides, I think I'll put some more of this same paper. I haven't cut a pattern for that yet, so I think I'll cut on the sides right here, I'll put the same paper. And then what I might do on the bottom is just put some cabochons, just so when it sits on the ground, it's not 100% flat on the ground to get dirty on it. I could put some little feet on it, but I think cabochons would be fine. Let me go on while I've got my brush out and decoupage this side, and then I can put my brush in water and get all that stuff out of it and not ruin my brush. If y'all haven't gotten one of those scrubbies yet, they're amazing in cleaning your brushes.
Where do you get them? Hobby Lobby?
No, you can get them on Amazon. I think somebody on Etsy maybe sells them, but you can get them on Amazon. SCRUBBY, I think, maybe IE. And they come infused with oils, and they smell really good. But they will clean the liquid gold off your paintbrush, where you don't have to use like a separate oil.
It's like a bar of soap.
Yeah, it's just like a bar with
stuck to the top
a sponge on it. Yeah. Okay. So now we've got her all down there, except for the sides. So I'm gonna stick this brush down in water. That's a big handle brush, so it may not stay in that water too well. Okay, let me try to get this off and see if I can read comments. Hey everybody, let me see. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Shelly. Hi, Shelly. Dottie's Design. Hello. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Judy. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well. Debbie's Glitz and Glam. Hello. Barbara Posta, my sweet friend. Susie Zay, my sweet sister. Vicki Hopkins. Hi. Hey, Veronica. Thank you for sharing. We're going to call it Spread the Inspiration, Veronica. This Barbara Polton came up with that, and I love it. Spread the Inspiration. Love the first bling best. The colored one, I think so too. Let's see. Crafting with the Sassy Chicks 101. Hello. Hello, welcome. Yeah, Barbara, my phone overheated. I don't know why I turned it. My phone overheated, so I had to cool it
sitting in
down.
the window, the sun shining on the back of it.
Urban Diverse is back. Thank you for coming back. Hey, Missy. Hey, Janet. Hey, Vicki. Hey, Tessie. I spoke to you, I think. Hey, my sister Denise. Thank you all for being on here and sticking it out with me. I'll tell you what, if I see that I'm going to be able to go on tonight and iron the trim on, and I don't know if I have any cabochons or not, but put the bling on her and then put the fabric inside, I'll send a telegram out so that maybe y'all can come on and see the finished product. Dottie, we have been gone since Memorial Day. Did we leave on Memorial Day? Yes, we left on Memorial Day. But before that, we were like home for one day, and we were gone for almost a week before that. And then we'll be home today and wash clothes and repack, and then tomorrow go to house sit for some friends who live not very far, like 45 minutes. They live on the river, and we're going to house sit their kitty cats while they're out of town. So anyway, I appreciate y'all being on here. I love you, and go out and be blessed and be a blessing. Bye.